Welcome to Superalgos. I'm an interactive tutorial, the first in a series designed to facilitate your onboarding and teach you all the basics. I will get you started, show you the tools that will help you move around comfortably, and help you discover all the cool things that Superalgos may do for you. Tutorials are the ultimate Superalgos onboarding tool. Starting with Superalgos in any other way is a mistake, as no other resource will get you up to speed faster. You should do all tutorials before trying to implement your own ideas. Tip: please, always click Next to continue. Pick your language. Users are contributing translations so that you may choose your preferred language. This community is awesome. This is how it works: the default language is English. If you choose any other language and there is a translation for the current page, then you get it in the selected language. Otherwise, you get it in English. Use the mouse wheel to scroll the page on the right downwards. Click on a flag to change the preferred language, if so you wish. Note: only the docs and tutorials may be translated, not the interface, nor titles. Use Chrome or Safari. When running the frontend, use Chrome or Safari on Mac. We are not testing on any other browsers. It is a well-known fact that browsers behave differently, and we do know of features that do not work on other browsers. If you are on Chrome or Safari, click Next and continue. If not, do the following. Copy the current URL. Close this browser as is, do not close the tutorial. Open Chrome/Safari and paste the URL. The tutorial should be open on this step when you come back. Warning: we offer online support, but we can't help you with any other browser. Learning Superalgos. Superalgos is a robust, vast, and flexible platform with a steep learning curve. Let's fine-tune expectations from the get-go. If you're looking for a plug-and-play bot that will make you money out of thin air, I'm sorry, but that doesn't exist. Bot companies make you believe that trading is easy just to sell more subscriptions. Tip: the truth is trading is hard and you will need to master complex concepts and tools to succeed. If you don't know how to trade and are not a technical person, you're up for a real challenge. You will either learn a lot or quit. We, tutorials, will help you along the way, but you need to do your part. Developers and/or traders should have it much easier, though. You will get lost. You may find it hard to grasp the interface as it doesn't become intuitive until you master a few concepts. Please, be patient. The right way to start is to embrace the following idea. Tip: Superalgos is built on a different paradigm, optimized to handle and digest extreme complexity. It takes time to make sense of it, so please, open your mind and let go of all preconceived notions. Note: there's a lot to learn. Tutorials are packed with information introduced in the order we believe makes the most sense for most people. Please, revisit tutorials until you master all the basics. Take your time. Fly by sections of tutorials or skip steps at your own peril. Chances are you will hit a wall like Wall East Coyote chasing the Roadrunner. You may be tempted to skip steps or fly by the instructions provided in some tutorial steps. It's okay, provided that you come back and do the work later. Tip: better read carefully and let concepts sink in. You will need every ounce of knowledge to succeed. Important: I can't stress this enough. You will play the game against apex predators counting trading firms, hedge funds, and investment banks that eat retail traders for breakfast. Do the work or die. I just want to copy trade. Copy trading is a whole different story and should be a lot more accessible. The easier apps optimizing for UX are on the way. The social trading apps that will make copy trading a breeze are currently in the making. In the meantime, you will use this very same platform. Important: for the time being, you need to learn to move around the Superalgos platform and grasp a few concepts, so that you can properly operate a copy trading setup. Tip: the 3 tutorials in this workspace will get you up to speed. This ain't working. If at any point the tutorial gets confusing, the community is ready to help. You don't need to bang your head against the wall. I rely heavily on automated actions that your browser should be able to resolve. For instance, I will take you to places in the design space, open up charts in the charting space, turn layers on and off, and so on. Important: if you ever feel your browser is not showing you what I'm suggesting you should be seeing on screen, ask for help. Use the link below to join the support group now. Superalgos support group. That's me on the right. Tutorials are defined within the system, so you may create more of us if you wish. But we'll discuss that godlike power later on. Let's focus on the basics first. Superalgos is inherently a visual tool. The system represents information in hierarchical structures of interconnected nodes, represented by icons. What you see on your right is one of these hierarchies, in particular, a tutorial hierarchy. In this case, tutorial is the type of node and welcome to Superalgos is the name of the node. Hover your mouse pointer over the tutorial node and see what happens. Wow! Cool, right? That's a lot of buttons. Expand that node. Each node features a menu. The button on the bottom left expands and collapses the structure of nodes below the current node. Go ahead and click the expand button. The tutorial node has several offspring, and these have several more offspring. That's why it's a hierarchy. Note: structured visual representations of information are at the core of how Superalgos administers the complexity behind flexible and scalable trading operations. Each node represents a concept or piece of info. There are hundreds. Let's go for a ride. Before I show you the rest of the menu, let's take a look at another hierarchy, the LAN network. The LAN network hierarchy is the control room of the system. This is where you control your data tasks, testing trading tasks, and production trading tasks. Expand the hierarchy and take a look inside. See the nodes I mentioned earlier? Cool. We are here to start your first ever data mining operation. Note: but before we start, I have a quick question for you. Are you accessing the client remotely? Remote access. Superalgos allows running the client on a machine and accessing it via the browser from another machine in the network. Many users choose to run the client in the cloud, on single-board machines like the Raspberry Pi, or on a dedicated PC that they can leave on at all times when trading live. The My Computer LAN network node represents the machine the client is running on. Warning: at this stage, Superalgos does not implement any form of security. You should use the system in the context of a restricted local area network only. If you choose to run the client in the cloud, you must implement your own security. About small hardware. While minimalist hardware like the Raspberry Pi can handle the Superalgos client to run both data and trading tasks, some may be too small for active work. The core idea behind running the client in small physical or virtual hardware is to maximize cost efficiency in production deployments. In such contexts, the UI is used minimally. Tip: we highly recommend learning Superalgos while running in a full-size machine. If you notice your small hardware is too slow during this tutorial, consider installing in regular hardware until you learn system, build your first strategies, and are ready to deploy. Otherwise, it may be frustrating. About small hardware. Accessing remotely? If you are accessing the client from the same machine, you may click Next and skip this step now. If you are accessing the client from a remote machine, you must adjust the LAN network node configuration. Click Configure on the top right corner of the LAN network node menu. Change the host parameter for the IP address of the machine running the backend. If you use a reverse proxy, add this parameter. WebSocket's external URL, WSS, // mydomain.com, 443. Now close the editor. If the configuration is correct, the error message should disappear in a minute. Ready to rock? The Data Tasks node controls all the data mining tasks defined for this LAN network node. You are about to start the first of the following activities that we'll cover in the next few minutes. Run a data mining operation to get data for the BTC/USDT market from the exchange. Run a backtesting session with an existing open source strategy. Run a live trading session with minimal funds to test other critical aspects of the system. Are you cool with this? Shall we start? Binance.com or Binance.us? Before we start data mining, I have a little question for you. Are you trading at Binance.com, Binance.us, or neither? If you trade at Binance.com or don't trade with Binance at all, then you may skip this step and the next. If you trade at Binance.us, you need to configure the Binance node to the right. The video on the next step shows you how. Access the configuration and change the codename to Binanceus. Exit the editor and it will save automatically. Edit the label of the node to read Binanceus. Let's mine some data. Access the Data Tasks node menu and find the Run All Project Data Tasks button on the top right corner. Click the Run All Project Data Tasks button. Confirm the request by clicking the button a second time. In about 30 seconds, you should see a status notice below the Data Tasks node indicating that 1 out of 1 Exchange Data Tasks node is running. Note, your console app should show something similar to the video on the next step. How are things going? I just dragged you deep into the confines of the data mining operation. See the progress of the sensor bot instance to your right. The sensor bot is currently extracting data from the exchange. As soon as she completes the extraction for the defined date-time range, something really cool will happen, automatically. Can you guess what that may be? Tip: it may take up to 30 minutes to extract the data from the exchange, or a bit longer, depending on your hardware and internet bandwidth. But don't worry, you'll learn a few things while we wait. Candles volumes in action. Indicators will start working as soon as the sensor bot finishes her job. All data tasks are coordinated. You're watching the processes of candles volumes. She turns the 1-minute candles the sensor bot downloads from the exchange into candles for all time frames. What happens after she finishes? Other bots need candles volumes to finish her work so that they may start doing theirs. Imagine a bot needs to calculate a 20-period simple moving average for all time frames. She needs the data product produced by candles volumes as input for the SMA calculation. We call such a need a data dependency. Click and drag, baby. I want to show you something while the data mining operation progresses. I'll teach you how to walk in 2 seconds. Just click and drag with your mouse. Easy, right? Great. However, the design space is a huge place, and I wouldn't want you to get tendinitis dragging your way around like this. Tip: I'll teach you a couple more tricks in the next couple of steps. Time to take control. Yes. You may use your keyboard too. You are going to love this for long distance travel on the design space. Regular folks may use the Control key plus arrow keys. Notice that keeping the keys pressed makes you fly. Tip: of course, macOS fanboys and girls must replace Control with CMD. Spacetime teleportation. Okay, you're not actually going to be teleporting, nor will you bend spacetime, but it almost feels like it. It's time to learn to use the design space map. I said earlier that the design space is huge, and I meant it. Going from one corner to the opposite would take hundreds of clicks and drags. While using the keyboard allows you to develop neck-breaking speeds, it's not as cool as teleporting. This is how it works. Right-click to open the map and left-click anywhere to go to that specific spot. Look at me on the bottom left corner of the design space. Now you know where to find me. Warp speed zooming. There's one more tool that you may find useful to manipulate spacetime. The native browser zoom function. Sometimes you may wish to visualize larger sections of the design space than your screen allows. Hit Ctrl and scroll the mouse wheel on Windows or Command key and/or plus in Mac. Tip: Chrome indicates the level of zoom on the top right corner. When zooming in or out, the design space gets centered on the screen. Use the design space map to go back where you were. A bit about tutorials. Before we get back to business, let me tell you a few things about how we, tutorials, work. Tip, in brief, you're the boss. You may stop a tutorial and skip steps, or entire topics, at any point. Once you're ready to pick up the lesson again, find us on the bottom section of the design space. Select Resume on the menu to start where you left, or on the first step you skipped. Select Play to start from the beginning. Let's try that. Click the Stop button below, and once I'm gone, open my menu and select Resume. Need a quick reminder? At this point, I'm probably overflowing your hippocampus. But don't worry, you may go back to any previous step. If you ever need a reminder about any of these topics, you may replay any tutorial topic or tutorial step. You may find me on the bottom left corner of the design space, browse through the hierarchy of topics and steps, and click play on any of them. Topics are arranged in a clockwise direction, starting from the right-hand side of the main tutorial node. Need a quick reminder? Find this step under the Tutorials and Help topic below. Then click Stop, and restart by clicking play on the said tutorial step. Hungry for more info? I won't go into every detail as we move along, but if you need more info on a node, the Help button on the menu takes you straight to its documentation. The documentation of a node may include one or more of the following sections. Definition describes what the node is or does. Content describes how the node works. Configuration, some nodes may have one. Technical, the rest of the info is usually of a technical nature, oriented to developers. Click the Help button on the Data Tasks node. Broke something? If you ever break something, like deleting a node or changing a configuration, and don't know how to deal with the outcome, you may easily start over with the original Getting Started Tutorials native workspace or the Partner Exchange workspace you may be using. Check the Workspaces menu on the top left corner. Find the Getting Started Tutorials workspace under Workspaces, Native Workspaces, Foundations. More workspaces? Indeed. You may work with as many as you wish and keep all of your work in perfect order. Workspaces save all the information relative to the data structures that are included in the workspace. Let's create a copy of this native workspace and make it your own. Hit the following key combination, Ctrl+Shift+Key S. Remember, replace Control with CMD in macOS. Tip, now check the User Workspaces section of the menu. That's your copy of the workspace. Okay. Back to work. Now that you're comfortable moving around, I want you to go on a little tour exploring the Data Tasks section of the LAN network node. Notice the following. The section is organized, first and foremost, by project, exchange, and market. This will help you work with multiple exchanges and multiple markets in an orderly fashion. The Exchange Data Tasks and Market Data Tasks nodes may control all tasks in the exchange and market, respectively. Go out and check those nodes and their menus. The magic of data mines. Within each market, the operation is organized by data mine. Superalgos ships with several open-source data mines, each with multiple indicators. Think of data mines as plugins that developers may create to extend the data analysis capacity of the system. An indicator bot may process data other indicators produce, hence adding value and producing deeper and richer analysis. If you have a basic understanding of JavaScript, you may create indicators too. If you contribute a data mine, you earn Superalgos SA tokens. At the core of data mining. The core of a data mining operation are tasks running bots. One task controls one bot, and a task manager may control multiple tasks. By now you've learned about 6 different devices that you may use to control each bot in your data mining operation. At the highest level, the Data Tasks node controls all data mining bots in the LAN network node. We'll talk about network nodes in a minute. At the lowest level, an individual task controls a single bot. The nodes in between are organizational nodes that help keep the operation in order and allow granular control over the different sections. Are we up to date? If your machine and connection are fast, chances are all processes may already be at 100%. When that happens, the data mining operation is up to date. When all processes are up to date, the bots keep running, processing information in real time as it is produced at the exchange. That is, the data mining operation doesn't stop unless you stop it. Look around and see if all processes are at 100%. Warning, if they're not there yet, go grab some coffee and come back later. Do not continue until all tasks are at 100%. Time to stop. We are not going to run a live trading session just yet, so there is no point in keeping our data mining running. There are two main use cases for running data tasks. To process historic data, you may want to process a date-time range of any given market to run a backtesting session, or to process new indicators. To run a live sessions of different types, like paper trading session, forward testing session, and live trading session, all need a live market feed. When all processes are up to date, select Stop All Tasks in the Market Data Tasks node. Notice you are stopping the tasks from a different node. Careful with your data. It may take up to 1 minute for all tasks to come to a halt. Check the console app to see task stopping. The proper way to close Superalgos is stop all tasks and allow a couple of minutes. When all tasks stop, you may close the console app or stop the process with Ctrl+Key C. You may close the browser at any point and leave tasks processing in the background. Warning, closing the client before tasks stop may cause your data to become corrupt. If that happens, you will need to delete the corrupt files and process the indicators again. The bright side. So far, you've been confined to the dark side of Superalgos. Get ready to be exposed to the bright side, the charting space. The charting space lives on top of the design space, separated by a turquoise slider. As you will come to expect from Superalgos, the charting space is configurable and highly flexible. Everything that happens there is defined on the charting space hierarchy. Warning, the charting space is known for blowing people's minds. Please, refrain from continuing with this tutorial if you are currently under the influence of psychoactive substances. Break on through. I'll get you up to speed with moving around and browsing the charting space in no time. Let's deal with the slider first. Click it and drag it down to close the design space and open the charting space. Do the opposite for the reversed effect. To do it with the keyboard, hit Ctrl+Shift+. Try 2. Tip: unless you need both spaces to be partially open, it's always a good idea to fully close either of them to save computing resources in your machine. Navigating the white room. Just like the design space, the charting space features a huge area where you may set up charts, as many as your hardware can cope with. To keep things simple for newcomers, there are only 2 charts in this Getting Started Tutorials workspace. Advanced users monitor charts from multiple exchanges and multiple markets. To move around the viewport, click and drag on the blank area using your mouse. The keyboard combination is Shift plus the arrow keys. Talk and time travel. I mentioned earlier there are 2 charts in this workspace. In Superalgos, we call each of these a time machine. A time machine may hold 1 timeline chart or more. We call them time machines because all timeline charts within a time machine are synchronized in time. This feature of time machines allows to superimpose different layers of data sharing the same timescale. Hover your mouse pointer over the time machines. Notice the label emerging on the left-hand side showing which exchanges and markets the data is associated with. A single time machine may hold data from multiple markets and multiple exchanges. Bending time? Okay, maybe it's not actually like bending, but bear with me. You'll love how you can shape time machines to the format you wish. Hover your mouse pointer over any of the edges of the turquoise frame defining the time machine and see what happens. See how the edge is highlighted in yellow? Cool. Now, left-click the frame and pull. Note, this is how you may shape time machines to your liking. Size matters? How about shaping the time machine to the exact aspect ratio of your screen? Matching the aspect ratio of your time machines to the aspect ratio of your screen is crucial for charts to fit your screen tightly while zooming in. Direct your mouse at one of the time machines and hit Ctrl plus Shift plus Alt plus key A. On Mac, Ctrl plus Shift plus CMD plus key A. Tip: do the same with the other chart, and leave the two time machines matching the aspect ratio of your screen from now on. Putting things in order. One more thing before we dive into the charts. You need to know how to put the house in order. The time will come in which you may be working with tens of charts. You already know how to change their format. Now you need to learn how to move them around so that you may create whatever arrangements you require. It's quite easy. Hit Shift, left-click, and drag. Tip: I believe we've covered everything about how to manage the charting space. It's time to dive into the charts. Get in the wormhole. It's time to dive into a time machine and see what happens. Are you ready for a full-on immersive experience? The charting space is like the Google Maps of market charts. As you already know, you left-click and drag to move around the landscape, but how do you zoom in to see the details? With the wheel of the mouse. Try it. Exactly. Just like in Google Maps. Pointing the mouse to the area of interest, then roll the wheel of the mouse forwards to zoom in, and backwards to zoom out. The elegant way. I know. Zooming into a random spot is unlikely to position the chart squared with your screen, right? No worries, try this trick. Adjust the aspect ratio, point your mouse to the backtesting session chart, the one on top, and hit Ctrl plus Shift plus Alt plus key A. Zoom out, use the mouse wheel to go to the furthest zoom out position, only from this position will the next command work. Double-click once, this centers the chart and takes you to a certain level of zoom. A margin is left to fit the name and tab of the chart on the top left corner. Double-click again, this takes you further in the chart, to the zoom level in which the chart perfectly fits the screen and layer managers emerge. Moving in Wonderland. So, you are finally inside a chart. The first thing you'll want to do is move around and learn what these charts may do for you. Let's get on with that. Like in the design space, when inside a time machine, you move by using your mouse and your keyboard. This is how. With the mouse, left-click and drag. With the keyboard, use the arrow keys. Note: what? It's not working? Are you stuck with a frozen chart? Like in the video on the next step? Don't worry. I know what's going on. Unlocking time. The reason why you can't move is that scales are locked in the automatic mode so that you may easily find the data after your first data mining operation. Setting the time scale in automatic mode forces the whole date-time range of available data into the chart. To toggle between the various automatic modes and manual mode, hit Shift and make a gentle one-step roll with the wheel of your mouse on top of the timescale box. Alternatively, you can also place the mouse pointer over the scale box and hit the up and down arrow keys. Check the video on the next step for clarity. Scaling time. Did you pick up the trick to scale time from the previous video? If not, go to the previous step and watch attentively. Scrolling the wheel of the mouse on top of the time scale box shrinks and expands time. Alternatively, you can point the mouse to the scale box and hit the side arrow keys. Note: there's one more interesting detail worth noting in the previous video. When the time scale exits the automatic mode, the two tiny green triangles indicating each end of the automatic scale disappear. The scale can be set to automatic on either, neither, or both sides. Playing with the rate scale. Do I need to tell you how the rate scale works, or can you figure it out on your own? Okay. I'll give you a hint. The rate scale works like the time scale, but, when using the keyboard, you must reverse the arrow keys. Use the left and right arrows to toggle through the automatic modes and up and down arrows to affect the scale. Check the video coming next for clarity. Tip: play with the semi-automatic scale modes too. You know, when a single tiny triangle remains visible after a few flicks of the mouse wheel. Timeframe salad? News flash about the timeframe scale: there is no automatic mode. You may toggle through all available timeframes using the mouse wheel or up and down arrows, in descending order: 24, 12, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1 hours, and 45, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 minute. Important: beware when you switch the time frame scale to lower time frames. Dropping time frames too fast and without adjusting the time scale may cause too much information to be rendered on screen at a time, slowing down your computer. How much information density your hardware may handle depends on its CPU and GPU performance. Scales best kept secrets. You just learned the basics about the 3 scales governing the charts, but there's more. Remember I mentioned that a time machine may feature multiple charts from multiple exchanges and markets? There is no limit as to how you may visualize data in Superalgos, and scales play a major role in more complex configurations than the ones we are exploring at this point. If you wish to learn all the details, feel free to go through the scales section of the documentation. Switching gears. Leaving scales behind, let's take a look at how the system makes data available on the charts. Every timeline chart has an associated layer manager, which is represented as a drop-down menu listing multiple layers. To open a layers manager, scroll the wheel of the mouse on its header. Use the wheel of the mouse to scroll through its content too. See the video on the next step for clarity. Layers on top of layers. Your data mining operation features bots making data products. Each product is made available on the charts through a layer in a layer manager. The first and second layer managers to the left feature 2 layers each. Those layers represent the data products that the trading system we are going to test later on uses to make trading decisions. To turn layers on and off, left-click on them. Note, Superalgos ships with many more indicators, but they are not configured in this workspace. You will learn about them later. The hard data. A plotter panel features non-graphical representations of data, mostly in the form of numerical values or text. Each layer may or may not feature one or more associated panels. It's up to the developer of the corresponding indicator bot to define them or not. To access panels, left-click on the plotter panel icon of the layer of choice. Tip: you may move layer managers and plotter panels by left-clicking on their headers and dragging them to any corner of the screen. Back in time. This is the charting space hierarchy setup of the time machine we've been playing with on the charts. Spend a few minutes exploring these definitions. Take a peek at different nodes menus. I hope the structure of nodes is intuitive enough to grasp how powerful the concept of the design space is. You set up a time machine by adding timeline chart nodes and the desired scales. Then set up layer managers and layers referencing the corresponding data mine products so that the desired data becomes available on a particular layer manager on the charts. It's like the Legoland of trading charts. You'll learn to customize charts later on. Visual scripting on steroids. Talking about block building, we are now in the confines of the master's data mine. To your left, the definition of one of the bots you sent mining minutes ago. Pretty much like with the Lego-like definitions of the charting space, bots are too defined on a visual environment. All developers need to code is the actual data building procedure. Everything else is defined on a visual setting, processes with their dependencies, outputs, and so on, and products, with their record and dataset definitions, etc. Plotter's magic. And this is how plotters are built. Plotters create graphical representations of data, from candles to everything else. Again, visual scripting is at its best. Plotters use stylized polygons made out of coordinate points to paint lines and shapes that represent data. Every layer made available on the charts is created with a set of definitions of the sort you are looking at right now. The particular case of the resistances and supports bot is a rather complex one, but does showcase the power of the tool. Find the support zone 5 polygon, to the left, expand it, and crawl your way up the branches for a sneak peek of how this beauty was built. Let's do some testing. We are back on the LAN network hierarchy to show you one of the core strategy testing resources built in the trading bot. But before you run your first backtesting session, let's go on a quick scouting mission to grasp how the testing trading tasks node is set up. Expand the testing trading tasks node and look at the structure of offspring nodes. Looks familiar? Indeed. It resembles the data tasks section. Tasks are organized by exchange, market, and trading mine, so that you may test any number of strategies optimized for different markets on multiple exchanges. Aim high, trade big. Picture an army of bots working with multiple exchanges, markets, and strategies, running on a network a la trading farm. That is what the LAN network node is about. What you've seen so far is running on a single machine. But tip, Superalgos supports distributing and coordinating tasks across networks of nodes running the client on any number of machines. Note, this enables scalable operations. Any machine running the UI may control the enterprise. You may set up a network with a few Raspberry Pi, an industrial-grade data center, or anything in between. Machines learn too. The latest version of Superalgos features an experimental integration of TensorFlow to leverage ML from within the app. The integration maps the definition of a Node.js TensorFlow library featuring a supervised learning algorithm and its artificial neural network in the same kind of structure of nodes typical of Superalgos. Note, the integration leverages the rest of the Superalgos infrastructure so that you may use your datasets to train ML algos and use the resulting models from within trading systems. You're welcome to join other developers to help complete the integration. Machines learn too. Civil works ahead. Don't be surprised if you find an under construction sign here and there. As I mentioned earlier, Superalgos is constantly growing, and infrastructure architected for the upcoming version may occasionally be merged to the current version in a service pack, along with necessary fixes and minor improvements. Note, if you are curious about what is cooking for the upcoming Superalgos release, join the Superalgos Develop Telegram group. Enough digressing. We'll run a backtesting session with a bunch of pre-configured parameters so that you may have a quick glimpse at how simulations work. As you can see to the right, a trading session has a reference to a trading system. That is, the trading bot will apply the rules of the reference trading system to make decisions. There's also a reference to a trading engine, a subject worth its own chapter, so I'll leave it for later. The trading session is affected by several parameters. Take a quick look at their configuration selecting Configure on the menu. What? When? How? Trading parameters determine key aspects of how the trading session is run. Let's take a quick, superficial look. Session base asset, no capital is assigned in BTC. Session quoted asset, 1000 USDT of initial capital. Time range, we'll test a single day, September 1, 2020. Time frame, orders are placed/cancelled every minute, thus 1 minute is appropriate. Slippage, it's irrelevant for this case, as this particular trading system uses limit orders only. Fee structure, 0.1% is just an example. The remaining parameters do not affect the simulation. To learn more about trading parameters, take a look at the documentation. Ready. Set. Go. Let's get going. This is going to be quick anyway, as we are testing a single day's worth of historic data. Running a trading task is quite similar to running a data mining task. The difference lies in that, after running the task, you also need to run the trading session. Select Run on the Lightning Strike task menu. Now select Run on the backtesting session menu. Note, when the backtesting session indicates it finished processing, stop the task and click Next. Getting to the fun bits. I took the liberty of bringing you to a particular moment in time, relevant to what comes next. You are about to be exposed to the beauty of simulations. Am I a simulation? Are you? Is this whole thing real? Look around and decide for yourself. Tip: first of all, notice you are now in the 1-minute time frame, thus, these are 1-minute candles. The span of time on your screen is little more than 1 hour, at the beginning of September 1st, 2020. What is it we are testing? We've run a back test, but we haven't discussed the trading system we are testing. Let's go through the basics. The trading idea is to buy the falling knife and sell the rebound. The strategy places a limit by order a distance below the price. If the order is not filled by the next minute, the order is cancelled and a new order is placed, potentially at an adjusted rate. If the price drops suddenly, chances are the order will get filled. If that happens, then the strategy tries to sell at a higher price. Note, let's not discuss the merits of the trading idea, but the implementation. This is just a demo to show off the capacities of the trading bot, not the strategy per se. Green silver bullets. Do you see the green bullets with an L in the center? Those are the limit by orders I mentioned. Notice how an order is placed every minute and is cancelled before a new order is placed. Do you recognize the symbol for the order cancellation? It's the smaller, darker bullet with a white horizontal stripe in the middle. Notice the knife falling at 0:21 a.m. The price fell well below the rate of the limit order, therefore, the order was filled. That is what the bigger, filled, green bullet indicates. So, what happens afterwards? Sell it quick. I'm sure you noted there are no more limit buy orders after the order got filled. Instead, sell orders start popping up. Notice how the first limit sell order is placed at 0:22 a.m., the minute after the buy order is filled. It's the same minute Superalgos would have gotten notice from the exchange that the order got filled. The trading bot connects with the exchange and goes through 2 distinct cycles. Tip: in the first cycle, it finds out the status of existing orders. In the second, it gives new instructions. Shall we dig deeper? The logic behind the placing of buy orders is influenced by the resistances and supports indicator bot from the master's data mine you ran earlier. I took the liberty to turn the supports layer on to show you this beauty. I hope you don't mind. The indicator identifies levels, price ranges, on which price is rejected and keeps a counter of how many rejections occur until the level is breached. The way levels are represented on screen varies with the number of rejections the level has witnessed, giving us a visual clue of how strong each support level may be. Once a level is breached, it disappears. Who's keeping score? Check the table below and see if you can interpret the support levels you see on the charts. Rejections graphics comments. 1. A faint, gray dotted line. 2. A gray block. 3. A turquoise block. 4. A yellow block. 5. A green block. 6. An orange block. 7. Or more. A purple block. For a new support level with 1 rejection, the dotted line marks the exact level on which price bounced. For further rejections, the blocks mark the rate ranges on which subsequent rejections are counted. The power of data mining. Why do levels jump up and down? There's something I haven't told you yet, cause I'm afraid it may blow your mind. The bot keeps track of all support levels alive since the start of the dataset, but only shows you the 5 levels closest to the current price. Keeping track of information for the whole span of the dataset, which may count years, is the extraordinary value of data mining and the kind of things you wouldn't be able to calculate with a function, on the fly. The plotter associated with the indicator bot dynamically shows the 5 levels of support closest to the price because those are the relevant levels for the context, and it's how the plotter is built. Find the logic challenge. Now that you know how the indicator works, Can you find the relationship between buy orders and support levels? Take some time to explore the period of time tested looking for clues on how support levels determine the rate of the limit buy order. It's fun noticing how new levels form when price changes direction, and how an established level changes color when price bounces off it. Tip, but the trick lies in counting levels above the order. Here's how it works. Got it? The trading bot places the limit buy order at the fourth support level. What's the logic behind this? It's sort of arbitrary, but the strategy defines a falling knife as the price action capable of breaching at least 3 support levels and getting to the fourth during a single minute. Statistically, such events, in this time frame, produce more bounces than continuations. They may be caused by large market orders that temporarily increase the bid/ask spread in the order book. Take a minute to verify that buy orders are placed at the fourth support level. Come meet someone. Sorry for dragging you away from the charts, but I wanted to introduce you to someone. The guy on the right is the one placing the buy orders. We are inside the lightning strike trading system, within the definitions of the open stage. In this stage, the execution algorithm takes over after the decision to take a position has already been made on the trigger stage. I know you still don't know what a situation or a condition are, but I'd still like you to do something. Take a few minutes to explore the nodes downstream from the execution algorithm, check the formulas and conditions, and see what you can make of them. Formulations. What you just went through is the definition of the limit buy order that is placed and cancelled every minute until it gets filled. This is the node that determines the rate of the limit order. Remember what we discussed earlier about placing the order at the rate of the fourth support level? Go to the formula attached to the order rate node and click Edit on the menu. Well, that is how it's done. As you can see, the syntax is virtually self-explanatory. It involves defining the time frame, the indicator, and the indicator property involved. The seller. We are now in the close stage. I thought it would be interesting to tell you more about execution algorithms with another example. An execution algorithm may handle multiple orders of all types. In this case, multiple limit sell orders are defined. Select Configure on the menu of the algorithm and reflect on the implications of this definition. Both the open stage, where you define how to take a position, and the close stage, where you define how to exit, may feature multiple execution algorithms, each of them handling a certain amount of capital. Simplifying complexity. We haven't discussed trading systems as a framework, but a feature relevant to this explanation is that they may handle multiple strategies. Each strategy features an open stage and a close stage, each with its own execution definitions. Each stage may feature multiple execution algorithms, and each algorithm may handle multiple orders. Do you see the pattern? We call it granularity. Superalgos breaks down each issue to the minimum expression, and integrates the solutions. This is how it allows you to design, deploy, and manage both simple and the most complex trading setups you may envision. Let's take a peek. Before we leave the trading system, let's take a quick look into one of these orders and see what may be of interest. Expand profit 0.6 and check the formula of the order rate node. Let's focus on this mysterious bit of the formula. Trading engine, trading current, position, exit target rate, value. The formula is fetching the value of the exit target rate, defined elsewhere. Let's not focus on what this target rate may be. Instead, let's take a look at the mechanism by which a trading system may have access to information processed by the trading bot. Find the node challenge. The trading engine is the data structure that keeps runtime info, making it accessible to users and trading systems. Remember my comments about granularity? Remember how the formula on the trading system fetched the value of the exit target rate? Here's a quick reminder. Trading engine, trading current, position, exit target rate, value. This string holds the path to that piece of information in the data structure of the trading engine hierarchy. Can you find the exit target rate node? Expand the hierarchy and follow the breadcrumb trail. Found it? This is how the trading engine makes every bit of information processed by the trading bot available to trading systems. There is a path to every piece of data, and by knowing the path, you may access the data from within any formula or condition in a trading strategy. Let's run a quick check. Access the menu of the Exit Target Rate node to the left, and click Copy Node Path. Now, open an external text editor and paste what you copied. OK. This is how formulas and conditions access the information. How about humans? The coolest trick. Humans may access this information by using a cool trick that makes the charting space interact with the design space. To use this trick, I just did the following. Split the screen in half, pulling the slider up so that we can see both spaces at the same time. Turn on the current position layer on the Trading Engine Layer Manager. I chose this layer because it corresponds to this section of the hierarchy, tradingengine.tradingcurrent.position, remember? Now, slide the mouse pointer across the candles on which the position is taken and see what happens on the nodes to the left. Feedback loops. Let's take a look at another example to let the notion of the constant feedback loop sink in before we move on. This is the data structure where information about limit by orders is kept. Go to the Trading Engine Layer Manager on the charts, the first counting from the left. Scroll down and turn on the Limit by Orders layer. Now swipe the mouse pointer over a few of the by orders and check the effect on the nodes on the design space. Can you envision the implications of having this level of control over the data managed by the trading bot? What's next? There are tons of things we haven't covered yet, like how to run a live trading session. We'll get there, no worries. I'm sure you still have tons of questions. How do I build my own strategies? How do I build an indicator? How do I deploy a trading farm? How may I integrate with TradingView? How do I set up Telegram or Twitter announcements? How do I fetch data from other APIs? Tip: there are tutorials and over 1,500 pages of documentation that cover all your questions. So let's look into the built-in documentation system before we move on with other stuff. Back to work. Superalgos features an in-app, interactive, searchable, editable, and multi-language docs site, and a built-in command line. Tip: learn to use the docs and the command line and you'll be the king of the hill. You've already used a couple of documentation pages on the docs panel on the right, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's try it. Search for the word network. Note, not to brag, but the search engine is fast. Tab Search Results. Results are organized in several categories, and each category is represented by a tab grouping results matching the category. I'll explain each briefly and set you free to look around. All features results from all categories. Nodes, node type matches containing the phrase. Concepts, includes notions such as references. Topics, large themes covered in sequenced pages. Tutorials, features the pages that make up tutorials. Reviews, features users' reviews on plugins, etc. Books, collections of topics organized in chapters that cover entire app domains, for an orderly read. Workspace, returns nodes that are present in the active workspace, click to go to them. A couple more things. You'll learn more about the docs and other tutorials. Now, I'll show you a couple more things before we run a live trading session. I'll give you a quick introduction about some premium services the community is currently working on. I also want to let you know that, if you appreciate what we are doing, you can help. Tip: tens of thousands of hours of hard work have gone into building Superalgos and bringing it to its current state. I hope you can take a couple of minutes of your time to give back, and I'll be happy to tell you where to start. Let's get on with it. What else is cooking? The Bitcoin Factory crowdsources computing power from the community to train ML algorithms that predict Bitcoin prices. Mine the Superalgos SA token by running the Bitcoin Factory ML test client to contribute computation. Use the ML predictions and signals as intelligence you may plug into your strategies to find your edge. To participate, join the Bitcoin Factory team in the Superalgos Machine Learning Group. Tip: once the beta phase is over, you will need to hold a certain balance of Superalgos SA tokens to access Bitcoin factory predictions, as it's a premium community service. Ultimate social trading. You may use the Superalgos platform to produce sophisticated intelligence, but you can also use it to copy other people's trades. Algo traders get Superalgos SA token rewards for producing and broadcasting trading signals. You may get the signals and copy trade the pros automatically using the same platform. To participate in the open beta testing efforts, join the Superalgos Trading Group. Tip: the first few signals are live now. You will need to hold a certain balance of Superalgos SA tokens to access this premium community service. Learn how to follow signals with Superalgos. Buy the token. If you wish to support the people building Superalgos, buying some tokens in PancakeSwap or 1inch is the way to go. Superalgos is a community-owned crypto project. The native token is used to incentivize contributions, meaning that the project distributes the token exclusively among open-source contributors. Tip: every dollar goes directly to contributors. Learn more about the Superalgos SA token. Buy the token on 1inch. Buy the token on PancakeSwap. Help us with a star. I hope you are enjoying this tutorial. Would you like to show your gratitude by giving a star to the Superalgos repo? Users who came before you put time and effort into crafting tutorials so that you may have a better experience. Giving a star to our repo is a nice way to say thanks. Stars improve the rankings on GitHub's search. The more stars, the easier it is for developers to find and ultimately contribute to Superalgos. Giving a star to the repo serves your own interests too. If you haven't yet, please go to our repository and click the star button on the top right corner. Here's a link for your convenience. Thank you. Spread the word on Twitter. Making some noise on Twitter will help bring more traders to the project. More traders pushing the boundaries of the software is the best driver of evolution. The more traders use Superalgos, the more they drive the community to develop ever more advanced features. This is what you need to do. Click the link below to go to our Twitter page, follow us, and retweet some of our latest tweets. Make sure you tag traders you follow. Follow Superalgos on Twitter. Enough chit-chat. Okay, my friend. It's time for the real deal. Are you ready for a little live trading session? I'll help you with the 3 main requirements. Check your parameters, in particular, decide how much capital you wish to assign to the session. Set up an exchange account key so that the app may access your account at the exchange. Ensure a live data feed, that is, the data mining operation with the indicators required by the trading system must be running and up to date. Note: if you are not ready to do some live trading for whatever reason, no worries, just keep going. You will at least learn how things work. Warning: Superalgos is a piece of computer software. Like with any software, errors may occur at any point, including errors that may cause you to lose money. You are responsible for taking all precautions you may deem appropriate before trading live. Even if you take all possible precautionary measures, things may still go wrong and errors may occur. By using this software to trade live despite the warnings, you acknowledge that you are aware of the inherent risks in trading and in using software for that purpose. The Superalgos project offers the software as is, with no explicit or implied warranties of any kind. The project, the software, the superalgos.org website, and this tutorial do not offer financial advice. Although the strategies shipping with the system may be fully functional, Superalgos does not make any express or implied recommendation as to how you should use them. We share strategies for educational purposes only. Trade under your responsibility and at your own risk. The use of the software is subject to the terms of the license. Let's start with $100. The default initial balance is set to 100 USDT, well above the minimum transaction size supported by Binance. The initial balance is defined in the configuration of the session quoted asset. Check it out and decide for yourself if you wish to change it. Tip: Binance defines the minimum transaction size in BTC, so the requirement in USDT varies a lot with time. I set the amount to 100 USDT just to ensure you don't run into errors. You are free to try with a smaller amount. You will get errors if it's too small, but may try again as many times as needed. Just stop the task, change the initial balance in the session quoted asset, and try again. Check your spot balance. Before you run the live trading session, make sure you have enough spot USDT balance at the exchange. Take a look at your balance at the exchange and arrange for enough USDT for the session. Important, the trading bot will place one limit order for the initial balance, and cancel it the next minute in case it is not filled. Note, keep going even if you are not ready to trade. It's important because there are more things to learn in the tutorial. Enjoy the outdoors. The crypto ecosystem hierarchy is where you configure which exchanges and markets you work with, your accounts with exchanges, API keys, and so on. Talking about API keys, when you create your exchange API key at the exchange, consider the following. Exclusive for Superalgos, create a key to use exclusively with Superalgos. This will help you track what Superalgos does with your account and prevent conflicts with other bots you may be using. No IP restrictions, this is to avoid issues while doing the tutorial. You may add restrictions later, once you know how the system works. No withdrawals, Superalgos does not yet handle funds transfers, so there is no point in allowing withdrawals. Remove withdrawals for safety reasons. Your keys, your coins. This is where you configure your exchange account key for the live trading session of the Lightning Strike trading system. Access the configuration and carefully enter the API public key and the API secret key. Delete the default text string for each parameter first, so that no foreign character gets mixed up with the keys. Warning, the exchange account key is stored in the user workspace file, unencrypted. It is used to authenticate with the exchange. It's never sent or stored elsewhere. Don't share this workspace until you learn how to do it safely in the next tutorial. Fire up the machine. Now it's time to fire up your data tasks operation. Select Run All Project Data Tasks on the menu. We'll give it a few minutes to catch up with the present time. Remember, all indicators must get to 100% before we can start trading. Tip: if you are not going to run the live session, you don't need to start the data tasks. Just keep going to learn how the process works. Are we ready yet? Resistances and supports multi-timeframe daily to the left is the last of the processes to finish, so keep an eye on it. If this process is at 100%, then we are ready to go. Note, either way, nothing catastrophic happens if you attempt to run a live trading session when the required indicators are not up to date. There would be an error, and you'd be notified of the reason. So, no big deal. Tip: in the next step, I'll ask you to start the task and the live trading session. If you choose not to, keep going with the tutorial as if you had. Let's do this. We've gone through the 3-point checklist and we are ready to go, so let's get on with it. Run the Lightning Strike task, and then run the Lightning Strike live trading session further down the hierarchy. Note, once you run the session, the trading bot may have to wait up to 60 seconds for the last indicator to finish processing. Once it does, you will see the current date and a 0% progress notice under the trading process instance, which will remain like that throughout the run, because we are not setting a time limit for the session. Check your console. If you don't see any errors on the trading process instance, chances are everything is working fine. However, you may want to take a look at your console application and see if you notice anything out of the norm. Take a look at your console app. Note, you should be able to see the alternating executions of the candles volumes and resistances and support indicators with the low-frequency trading bot. Is it working? The unequivocal way to verify if things are working fine is by logging on to the exchange and checking your order history for BTC/USDT. Go to the exchange's web interface and take a look at what's going on. Note, at any point in time, you should see one open order and a number of cancelled orders piling up in your order history, pretty much like in the video on the next step. Monitoring the fun way. You thought I would let you monitor the live trading session watching the ugly list of orders at the exchange? No way. Superalgos produces the same kind of simulations you fell in love with for live sessions too, in real time. Can you see the first few buy orders on the chart? Note, I just brought you to the present time on the 1-minute chart. You should be able to see the latest candle forming and a few orders already. The rate scale is in automatic mode at both ends. Feel free to change the scales to your liking. 3 minutes to play. I'll give you a few minutes to play around with your live session, and when you are ready, we'll wrap things up and finish the tutorial. Take some time to process what you've learned so far. Important, once you are ready to move on, feel free to stop the live trading session and data tasks. Warning, you may leave the session running if you wish, but I wouldn't trust my hard-earned cash to the demo strategy indefinitely. Get in touch. Join the new Discord server or the original Telegram groups. Click on a group to get the link on the docs panel. Discord server, the server is new, thus less active. Announcements channel, get official news first. Community group, let's talk Superalgos. Develop group, meet other developers. Support group, need help getting started? Token group, let's talk governance and the token. Machine learning group, join the Bitcoin factory. Trading group, help test trading signals. UX UI group, can you design? Docs group, helps us improve the docs. Beware of impersonators. The founding team and community mods will never contact you directly unless you contact them first. Warning, scammers are lurking. Beware. It's no news that trading-related groups attract all sorts of scammers, and we are aware that they contact people in our groups attempting all sorts of tricks. We will never ask you for API keys, coins, or cash. In fact, we will never ask you to trust us in any way. We want to make it clear that if someone contacts you directly claiming to work with or for the project, it is a scam. Please report scammers in the community group so that they may be banned, and to increase awareness of the problem, but also block them and report them to Telegram if the option is available. Ready for more tutorials? Not to brag, but I can't stress enough how important it is that you make all tutorials available before venturing on your own. The system is vast and covers complex matters. Going solo on your first days with Superalgos is only recommended for people who enjoy banging their heads against the wall. Tip: the First Steps tutorials book to your right provides all the details on the best way to invest your time learning Superalgos. Note, before you finish, I will leave you with the next best tutorial in the series. About our governance. Before I leave you with the next tutorial, you must know that Superalgos is a crypto project with distributed governance. You may earn Superalgos SA token rewards and reputation by contributing to the project. Then you may leverage your tokens and reputation to participate in governance programs. Participating in governance earns you more tokens, as helping direct the project is an important contribution in and of itself. Note, you may earn your first few tokens with the airdrop program just by setting up your user profile. But before you do that, you need to do a couple more tutorials to complete your education. My only friend, the end. Okay, my friend, this is the end. I hope you've enjoyed the show and that I've managed to get you hooked to Superalgos. There's no doubt in my mind that you haven't seen anything like Superalgos before, have you? If you're ready to keep going, my friend, the basic education tutorial will complete your understanding on some basic aspects of the system you need to master before you set out to learn how to build your first trading system. Tip: we're done. Click stop to finish with me, and click play on the next tutorial when you are ready.